Pranayama. Learn, practice and be disease free. Part 1. With the original Sanskrit Sutras from the second chapter of Hathayoga Pradipika, written by Yogi Svatmarama. Created by Kundendu Kumar Sengupta of Blue Diamond Yoga. Inspired by Yoga Guru Iron Man Neelmoni Das. Namaskar. Let us start the video on Pranayama. Pranayama is the fourth limb of what is known as eight-limbed yoga or Ashtanga yoga in Sanskrit. To start with, let me explain that pranayama is not a breathing exercise. The words prana and ayama have a meaning, we will come to that. But I want to make this very clear in the beginning that pranayama should not be equated with breathing exercise. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because there is a lot of confusion and a lot of people equate pranayama with breathing exercise. So we will understand that in detail. Just to give you an example, when you're driving a car, you're using the accelerator and the brake pedals. Does it mean that the accelerator is driving the car or putting the car in motion? No, it is the engine and all the components. The accelerator is a tool at the bottom of your feet to control those. Breathing or breathing exercise is similarly a tool to control prana. So we will see that in details. Now, what are the first three limbs or angas? The first limb is called yama. The second limb is called niyama. And the third limb is called yogasana. Yama, niyama and yogasana are the first three limbs of Ashtanga yoga. What is yama? Yama is the way you interact with the world. Niyama is the way you interact with or you prepare yourself. Yogasana is practicing certain postures to be ready for the next step, that is pranayama. So these are the first three limbs of Ashtanga yoga, the eight-limbed yoga, yama, niyama and yogasana. I call pranayama as my life, as my prana. Why? I have been doing pranayama very seriously for the last 5 years, but I have been doing it for a long time, not very seriously. Some 30-40 years ago, one day I was playing with my children and I suddenly realized that I cannot run. My breathing is not helping me. I'm choking. Those days, I used to smoke 20, 30, 40 cigarettes a day. And I didn't realize that my lung power had gone to an abysmal depth. Once I realized, I obviously controlled my smoking and gave it up ultimately. I also started doing a little bit of pranayama and I found that I'm getting some benefit. So I continued doing it, but off and on, not very seriously or not very regularly. As I was moving from place to place, going to different cities to live, taking up new assignments and so on. However, in the last 5 years, I have noticed that my inhaler dose has become 1/4, purely due to pranayama. I am hoping that if I continue doing pranayama, my dose will come down even further or it may even go away, and I hope it does. However, with pranayama, I got a lot of other benefits. And this is what we will discuss. Not only the benefits that I received, but benefits that anyone and everyone who practices pranayama can get. Now let me tell you about this video. This is the first of a series of videos on Hathayoga Pradipika, which is a book written by Rishi or the sage Swami Yogi Svatmarama. We are starting with chapter 2 Pranayama in this video. We have taken up 10 sutras from the first 20 sutras of chapter 2 of Hathayoga Pradipika. The first one tells us where pranayama starts after what. The next two sutras give us a brief introduction of pranayama. Subsequently, we learn the fundamentals of breathing, that is the starting point for pranayama. Then there are 3 sutras that tell us about certain areas that we need to be careful about. So it gives us some caution. And finally, the last 2 sutras tell us what is the benefit or change that we will expect to notice when we are doing pranayama properly and for a sufficient length of time. So without wasting further time, let us start. This is the first sutra of chapter 2 of Hathayoga Pradipika. I have written it in Sanskrit on top and in what is called IAST script at the bottom. Let me read it out first before we try to understand the meaning. Atha sane dridhe yogi vashihita mitashanah gurupadishta margena pranayaman samabhyaset. So let us see what it means. We will take the sloka or the sutra. We will take the sutra and break it up into words and try to understand the meaning. Atha means now. Asana, here it means in yogasana posture. Because we have already learned yogasana in the 3rd limb of Ashtanga Yoga. Dhrire meaning firmly or properly. Yogi meaning the practitioner. Vashi basically means to bring under control. Here the sage means that having control over body and mind. We will understand this in detail. Hita basically means good, and in this sutra it is meant to be nutritious. Mita means measured, limited. Ashanaha means food. So Hita, Mita, Ashanaha is one phrase that means good or nutritious food in measured quantity. Let's go to the second line. Guru, the teacher. Upadishta, meaning advised. Margena, meaning marga means the path. Margena means by the path. Pranayaman, meaning pranayam, etc. Sama means properly or correctly or as told. Abhyaset means practice. So we understood some of the words, their meanings. Now let us see what the total sutra means. The sutra says a lot. It says now meaning after having learnt and practiced yama, niyama and yogasana, the yogi, the yoga practitioner, firmly established in yoga posture, because we have already learnt how to do that, will practice pranayama, etc. But following properly the path shown by the teacher. Guru Upadishta Margena, following properly the path shown by the teacher, with control over body and mind, Vashi, and consuming only nutritious food in limited quantity. So here it is interesting to note that consuming only nutritious food in limited quantity is an item discussed in Niyama. following properly the path shown by the teacher. This is a phrase we have to remember all the time while we are practicing yoga, because again and again in every book this is given that the path shown by the Guru has to be followed. And we must realize that when we say dridhe, which means firmly established in yoga posture, it does not mean that we make our body stiff. What it means is that we sit in the posture properly with the spine straight, body is not moving, body is peaceful, light, and not in any way stressed. So, after we have learnt yama, niyama and yogasana, we sit firmly in a yoga posture and following the path shown by the teacher with control over body and mind and consuming only nutritious food in limited quantity, we practice pranayama. Now we move to the next sutra. Chale vate chalam chittam nischale nishchalam bhavet yogi sthanutvam apnoti tato vayum nirodhayet. Let us see the meaning. Chale means when it moves. Vate means air. Chalam then moves. Chittam means the mind. Here air means breath. Nischale meaning when the air does not move. Nischalam, the mind becomes still. Yogi, I will be using this word yogi instead of calling the yogi a practitioner, and I will also continue to use the word pranayama and one or two other original Sanskrit words because they are a little difficult to translate. So yogi, sthanutvam, meaning sthanutvam means stillness, not moving. But here the sage indicates mental stillness, peaceful. Apnoti means having attained. So having attained mental stillness or attains mental stillness. Tato meaning therefore or hence. Vayum meaning breath or air. Nirodhayat means stop. Here by saying Vayum Nirodhayat, that is stop the air, the Rishi means practice pranayama. We will understand this in more details, so don't worry. That is why I put it in bracket. So what is the meaning of the sutra? It says that when we are breathing in and out, when the breath moves, the mind is fickle. The mind is going here and there. Swami Vivekananda has compared mind with a monkey, never sitting still, always moving and doing something or the other. But when the breath is not moving, then the mind becomes steady. Yogi attains mental stillness or mental peace. So stop the breath, that is practice pranayama. It means that pranayama is indicated to be not inhaling or not exhaling. It means or indicates holding the breath, either inside or outside. We will see that in more details, but it is important to note that breathing in and out is not primarily pranayama. Pranayama primarily is holding the breath. That's what the Rishi is saying, stop the breath. How to do that and all that, we will come to that. But remove misconception if you have that pranayama means breathing slowly and breathing in slowly and breathing out slowly. That is required, but the focus is on holding the breath. Now let's move to the next sutra. Pranayamam tatah kuryan nityam satvikaya dhiya yatha sushumna nadistha mala shuddhim prayatnicha. Let's see the meaning. Pranayamam, meaning pranayama, tata, hence, kuryat, meaning practice, nityam, meaning regularly. We will discuss this. Satvikaya, satvika means clean, dhiya means mind. Yatha, accordingly, as Sushumna, Sushumna is the name of a nadi. Sushumna nadistha means in the nadi called Sushumna. Now what is a nadi and what is Sushumna? Nadi is not vein or our nerves. It is something else. It is a passage that the body utilizes for energy movement. We will discuss this again and again. It is very important that we understand that nadi is not to be equated with nerves or veins. And Sushumna nadi is one of the 72,000 nadis. It is the main nadi. It goes along the spinal cord, straight up and down. And there are two other main nadis called Ida and Pingala. They go round and round the Sushumna nadi. So, Sushumna nadi is the central nadi that goes along the spine. Mala means garbage, which means that the Sushumna nadi has some garbage, either has or has been collected. Shuddhim meaning clean, prayatni, effort, cha. So what does it mean? It means that hence practice pranayama regularly with an uncluttered mind and try to clean up the garbage residing in the Sushumna nadi. Again, Sushumna and nadi I will continue to refer to as such since translations are difficult. So here what is meant by regularly? Regularly means that if you decide to practice pranayama once a year or once a month or once a week or once a day or 3 times a day, whatever you have decided, follow that discipline. For instance, if you have decided that you will practice pranayama once a day, then do it once a day every day. It is not good to practice 3 times a day and then not practice the next 2 days. That is what is meant by regularly. It does not mean daily. It means that whatever routine you follow, once a day, twice a day, you follow that as far as practicable, more or less at the same time. There are certain other guidelines, we will come to that. With an uncluttered mind means what? As we discussed that mind is like a monkey. So when we do pranayama, our objective is to cool down the mind, to ensure that the monkey does not keep jumping, it settles down. So as you are doing pranayama or before you do pranayama, you observe your thoughts but don't get involved with the thoughts. If thoughts come and let them pass, but don't get involved. And this is how you clear the garbage in the Sushumna nadi. The garbage in the Sushumna nadi starts collecting from the time we are born, and with our daily activities, habits, etc., more and more garbage is collected there. Objective of pranayama is to clean up that nadi, and once you clean up that nadi, in the later sutras 19 and 20 we will see what happens when we clean up the Sushumna nadi. Now let us move to the next sutra. Baddha padmasano yogi pranam chandrena purayet dharayet vya yatha shakti bhuyah suryena rechayet. What does it mean? It says Baddha padmasana, meaning in the yogasana posture named Baddha padmasana. We expect to know this because we have studied yogasana. Yogi, pranam meaning the breath. We will see why breath is called pranam or life. As we go along, we will understand why pranam and breath are being used. Chandrana means the left nostril. Chandra means the moon, but here Chandrana means through the left nostril. The left nostril is known as the moon nostril. Purayat meaning fill up or breathe in. Dharayatva meaning holding the breath. Yatha Shakti meaning as long as possible. Bhuyaha stay. Then Suryena meaning to the right nostril. Right nostril is known as the Surya or the sun. So the left nostril is known as the Chandra Nadi or Chandra nostril. The right nostril is known as the Surya nostril. Rechayet meaning release, breathe out. So what does the sutra mean? Sutra says that the yogi sits in the yoga posture named Baddha Padmasana, breathes in through the left nostril, holds the breath as long as possible, and releases the breath through the right nostril. This is one half of one cycle of the basic pranayama. So in the next sutra, we will see the other half. So we will move on to the next sutra. Pranam suryena chakrishya puraye dudaram shanai vidivat kumbhakam kritva punaschandrena rechayat. So here, pranam meaning the breath again, suryena meaning through the right nostril, cha again, akrishya meaning attracted or pulled in, purayat fill up, udaram the abdomen meaning the lower part of the lung, shanai meaning slowly. Vidivat meaning as advised. Vidhi means as prescribed by the rishis. So as advised. Kumbhakam, this is a very important term, meaning holding the breath inside or outside even. Kumbhakam can be both inside and outside. Kritva meaning having done. Punaha meaning again. Chandrena meaning through the left nostril, we have already seen this. Rechayat, release the breath. Now fill up the abdomen by breathing in slowly through the right nostril. Hold the breath inside as advised and breathe out through the left nostril. So this is the second part of the cycle of pranayama. Let us put them together. The yogi sits in the yoga posture named Baddha Padmasana, breathes in through the left nostril, holds the breath as long as possible, releases through the right nostril, then fills up again through the right nostril, breathing in slowly, holds the breath again inside as advised, and breathes out through the left nostril. So left in, hold, right out, right in, hold, left out. This is one cycle of the basic pranayama. Now let's move to the next sutra. This is an advice. This and the next two are advices. Let's pay close attention. Yatha simho gajo vyaghra bhavet vashya shanai shanai tathaiva sevito vayur anyatha hanti sadhakam. It says, Yatha as, Simha means lions, Gajo means elephants, Vyaghra means tigers, Bhavet means become, Vashya meaning tamed, Shanai Shanai meaning very slowly. You know the circus animals, they are trained very slowly. If you make a mistake towards the beginning, then the trainer's life is at risk. So they have to be tamed over a long time with proper technique and method. Similarly, properly handle vayu, that is breath. Otherwise, anyatha, hanti means will die, sadhakam, the practitioner. So what does it mean? It means that just as lions, elephants, tigers have to be tamed slowly, with a lot of care, planning, etc. Similarly handle breath, meaning similarly learn and practice pranayama. Otherwise, the practitioner is at the risk of death. So, this is a very strong statement. What it means is that pranayama has to be practiced slowly, otherwise, there is danger. Let us see the next caution sutra. Pranayamena yuktena sarva roga kshayo bhavet ayukta bhasa yogena sarva roga samudbhava. So it says, by pranayam being done correctly, yukta correctly, sarva means all, roga means diseases, kshayo means get reduced or eliminated, happens. But a means not, yukta, that means not correctly practice, abhyasa, yogena, here yoga indicates pranayama, sarva roga, meaning all ailments, similarly arise. That means if pranayama is done correctly, all diseases reduce. But if pranayama is not done correctly, all ailments arise again. So we have to be careful and practice pranayama with full knowledge and understanding. That is why repeatedly at different places it says, follow the guru, learn it well, and then practice. Because you don't want to, with the hope of doing something well or doing good for yourself, want to get into a bad situation. And it happens. So please learn properly and then practice. Now, the word yuktam is appearing in this sutra 6 times. It appeared twice in the previous sutra. It is appearing 6 times in this sutra. So this is an extreme caution. It says, yuktam yuktam tyajed vayum, yuktam yuktam chapurayet, yuktam yuktam chavadnyadevam siddhimavapnuvat. Meaning, not only you do it correctly, do it absolutely correctly. That is why the sage is repeating the word yuktam 6 times after repeating it, twice in the previous sutra. You have to do it absolutely correctly. Tyajet means release, vayum means breath. So release breath absolutely correctly. Absolutely correctly, again, breathe in. Absolutely correctly, hold the breath, and that is how you get the result. So it says, breathe out absolutely correctly, breathe in absolutely correctly, hold the breath absolutely correctly. This is the way you attain the desired resulting state. So these 3 sutras are telling us again and again that please do things correctly. Don't play games with yourself. Don't just watch a video and start doing pranayama. You need to understand in depth. Go for a guru and understand and learn, and then you practice pranayama. Now we come to the last 2, which tell us what is going to happen, or how do we know that yes, we have cleaned up our Sushumna Nadi. So this is Sutra number 19. It says, Yada tu Nadi Shuddhihi Syat Tatha Chinhani Bhajyata Kayasya Krishata Kantis Tada Jayate Nishchitam. Meaning, when Nadi has been cleaned, which means the Sushumna Nadi, Syat has happened, then or of that, signals or signs are available or seen outside. What are the signs? Kayasya, of the body, Krishata, meaning leanness. You lose fat and become lean. Kanti, meaning brightness, some kind of a glow. Tada, then Jayate happens definitely. So it says that when the Sushumna Nadi becomes clean after practicing pranayama correctly for sufficient amount of time, the result is reflected in the body outside. You become lean and bright, and people will observe it. The last sutra of this video says, Yathishtam dharanam vayaranalasya pradipanam nadabhivaktiraarogyam jayate nadi shodhanat. Yathishtam means long time, dharanam means holding, vayu means breath, analasya meaning the digestive fire, pradipanam means increases. So if you can hold your breath for a long time, if you can do kumbhaka for a long time, then your digestive fire increases, you digest your food, and you also digest the fat in your body, so your body benefits. Nada, this is a new word, and this is a very important word, just like kumbhaka. This is an internal sound. I will not discuss this in detail in this video because there will be separate video on nada alone. But nada is an internal sound which we can say relates to the cosmic sound, and this nada is heard internally. It is not a sound of a siren. You cannot hear it through your ears. It is heard internally, but it is heard, and you become rogamukta, or you become, your ailments reduce when the nadi is cleaned. So to sum it up, if one holds the breath for a long time, digestive fire increases, your body becomes better and better. When the nadi is clean, one hears nada and gets rid of diseases. So these 10 sutras that we have studied, if you want to put it finally, that if you practice pranayama properly as advised by the Guru and following all the norms and the rules that are there of yama, niyama, and having done yogasana properly, then your body will become lean and bright and free of diseases, and you will hear some kind of a cosmic sound internally which will take you to another level. So this is basically introduction to pranayama. In the subsequent videos of this series, we will discuss pranayama in detail, meaning how to do pranayama, what exactly is to be done. There are several pranayamas, so we will discuss each one of them, and with each one we will see how to do, what is the benefit, what not to do, what are the cautions, and so on. If you like this video, please like it and share it. Please subscribe to this channel, Blue Diamond Yoga, and press the bell icon so that you get intimation of the upcoming videos. Please practice pranayama and stay healthy. Namaskar.